Good afternoon and welcome to our Virtual Publisher January 2015 Tips and Tricks Training Webinar, our first of the year. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about some features in virtual publishing that you may not be aware are there, or maybe don't utilize them to the fullest. They're pretty simple things, but can be very effective for you. That includes our plan history, the magazine viewer, and our deliveries view. A little housekeeping here to begin. The GoToWebinar client has a zoom button in the upper left of the screen, and that will help you expand the image to cover the full screen. I have a fairly large monitor, so you may want to do that. Any questions you have, you can submit through that same client, and I'll answer them at the end of the webinar. And without further ado, let's move on to our product demo. All right, I'm already logged in as a publisher, and I'm looking at a plan here. This is just a basic demo plan, nothing exciting here, but what I'd like to do is talk first about the plan history. Now there's two features really that touch on plan history, one of which you may use quite frequently, and that's the snapshot plan and manage snapshots view. Those are great. They provide a visual representation of what the plan looks like at any given point. You can do as many snapshots as you want, and you can share those with people. You can email them. They're just a PDF file. So it's a great visual representation for what is going on in your plan during the various incarnations of it as you go through the process. However, that's something that you manually have to do. You have to remember to say, oh, this is a point that I'd like to share, I'd like to remember, and then you manually go in and hit snapshot plan or manage snapshots. That's all well and good, but in the background, we have this database and we track what's happening with all the various user actions, what happens with the pages, all of those things, and you can access that and review it. And that can be really helpful sometimes. So that's under the Actions menu, View Plan History. And it's just a very simple filterable view. And it will let you change between the different kinds of history that we track and also download it. Okay. So let's just quickly go through these things. Now, each of these views, including the all history, has a quick search. So you can just start typing something, and that will filter through and filter out things that have those things in any of those fields that you see. So I type removed, and you can see it very quickly filters down. So I see file removed, page content removed. Okay, so very, very fast. Now, when you've got a lot of pages, this is just a little 16-page layout, but when you've got a lot of pages, this history thing is going to be very long. And so you can scroll through and see, even with only 16 pages, there's quite a lot of stuff there. Now, you can filter that and just go through these one by one until you hit what you need, or if you know what you're looking for, you can filter directly. So general information, I imported some storybook data. Editorial change. This, you'll see quite a lot of this when you're working with the stories. And so you'll see things like I added or removed a file to a slot in the story. I did things that affect an entire editorial, so I reflowed it, I locked the coverage, I made some change to the configuration of the story. All of that stuff appears here. It tells you what I did and the time it was performed, as well as who it was done by. Okay. Page content changes. Here are things where we have moved pages of the editorial. We have rearranged things on the plan. We've maybe uploaded some files. Previews were done by dragging from my desktop over to a slot on the plan. So that's really pretty self-explanatory. Nothing for that type. A whole page change. This is where we track things like merging. Okay, so we have an ad and an editorial that take up half a page, and we merge them together. This tracks that for you, and also it tells me that I delivered using our plan delivery mechanism, which we'll actually touch on in a moment. That's tracked here as well. Layout level changes, making new reservations that appear on the plan, the actual date that the plan was created, when it was promoted to production from planning. So important top level things here. Issue level, I didn't do anything with that. If you're changing the dates, that stuff might appear there. Okay. And the signatures, when you create, remove, merge signatures, or otherwise edit, you'll see that stuff appear here. Okay. Now, at any point, you can click the download history, and that is one of our standard reports. It's a comma-separated text file, and will open in Excel for you. So you can grab the whole thing, and if you want to manage it offline in Excel, that's certainly doable. Okay, well, we hope that is a useful feature for you. It really, we do get questions in support about, who did this? I'm trying to figure out what happened with this plan, and that's the go-to resource. That's what we look for in support. So you can sometimes quickly answer your own questions by going there. Okay, let's move on and talk about the magazine viewer. This is also under the Actions menu. View and Magazine Viewer, and that will open in our browser. That will open a new window or a new tab. There's also, we differentiate between this, we call them the desktop viewer, because it opens in your web browser, or you can view this through a tablet, an iPad. And so it's a nice looking interface on that form factor. Okay, so this is really very easy, and it's meant to be that way. It can be viewed by Send My Ad users. They need to be in a group that has the rights, can see plans and planning, and can see production plans. Okay. Well, let's just scroll through. There's two ways to navigate this. There's a previous and a next. Okay, and you can just flip through the pages like that. You can see I have a blank here, and that's just like what's in the plan. Okay, this is just another way of viewing what is in the plan. It's blank, and the reason is we have not clicked on the Show Info button here. But when I do that, when I flip back and forth, now you'll see at the top we have the color key, we have the information that is defined in the plan. And I'll show you in a moment where that comes from. But another way to get a little extra information about what's happening there. Okay, and that's ads and editorials. Okay, and you can flip through all the way through there. We also have a little ribbon down here with pages, and it lets you see the thumbnails, and you can click directly on those thumbnails and navigate easily. Okay, so you can easily see what's happening here. Okay, now you'll notice an invite button at the bottom. This allows you to select from your registered users and send an invitation email. And that email will take them directly to the viewer and allow them to navigate through just like we did there. Okay. Now, I mentioned that you control what that information appears. You can see that it looks just like what we see in the plan. Okay. And that's controlled under the gear up here, the little icon, plan display settings. And you can see that we have color space bars rather than codes. And for ads, we're showing our advertiser headline and booking number. And that is in fact what we saw in the magazine viewer. Okay, that's basically it. It's just a very simple interface meant for you to be able to focus on the publication as a publication, not as a plan, not as a planning or production process, but simply to flip through very quickly and think of it as an actual book or a magazine. Okay, our final topic that we're going to talk about today is the Deliveries View. Now, you may wonder, where is that? You may not see it. And if you don't, that's okay. We'll show you how to turn that on. But I'm talking about this icon and item in the left menu. To turn that on, we want to switch to our company profile and go to our virtual publisher settings. And it's right here, show Deliveries View in left menu. So be sure that that's clicked on. You may have to log out and log back in or refresh your browser, okay? But once you do that, it'll appear. Now, let us deliver a couple of files. So let's go under Actions to deliver completed pages. I'm sure you've probably used that. Okay, I have a variety of pages here that are ready for me to deliver. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, now I want to contrast this with something that you may have seen before, which is the show delivery status. That's what pops up here automatically after we deliver. So let's show delivery status. What that does is it switches the view using this the standard select. You probably use default and maybe info only. What it does is it puts an overlay on top of our thumbnails, and it tells us what's going on. It's in queue for delivery, or it's not delivered, or has been delivered. Okay, well that's fine. But let's turn that back to the default, and let's go to our deliveries view. And here you can see we've got the same list here. Now that view back on the book plan, it's handy, but again, I have a small, very small plan. But if you've got a 300-page book, it becomes very unwieldy to browse through the plan like that and just focus on what's being delivered. And that's the intent of this item. So it lets you see as a list what is going on with your deliveries. And it's a standard view in our application, which means that you can manage it. So I have here a demo view, and I can do things like hide the publication and issue. I can reorder these. So I can say that I want to see how many times it's been, we've tried to deliver it, and move that right up kind of to the front of what we're looking at. And maybe I don't really care what the connection is. So let's turn that off. And then I can switch to my demo view. And you'll see that we got rid of the connection, and number of tries moved right up here towards the front of the list. Okay, so these are being delivered, and we can, by default, we're looking at all the delivery states. So ones that have been delivered, that are actually being transferred at the moment. Okay, but we can filter by any of those items that you see here. So has it been delivered? Did it fail after 10 tries? Is it trying later? And is it in queue? Okay, so you can easily, if you're trying to really track and you're under pressure, you've got a deadline, you're waiting for things to appear at your printer, you can easily look and see what is actually there, what's up next, okay, and manage that. You can also, we have some options here. We can download the view. So if you need to demonstrate that this issue has completely been transferred, you can download the view right there. And that's just like any of these other standard table views in Send My Ad or Virtual Publisher. Again, it's just an Excel comma-separated text file. You may want to hide certain things. So if this view starts to become cluttered with things that you've already delivered and you really don't want to see those at all, or things that have errored and that they errored for good reason and you really don't need to see it, you can just individually or in bulk select those and select hide. And then another thing that you can do is highlight one or more of those and hit the retry all failed. And that will do what it says. It'll just attempt to redeliver those things. So a very common scenario is your destination FTP server may be down or the drive is full. You correct the problem, but very easily you can come in here and re-queue those things and send them off. Okay. All right, so very easy, but it's a really handy thing. I would really suggest that you turn it on if you don't have it already, and it's a great one to have in your bag of tricks. Okay, well, those are the topics we wanted to cover today. If there's any questions, I'd love to take those for you now. Okay, we've got one here, and that is, can the magazine viewer be shared with people who are not virtual publisher users? Right now, the answer is no. If I switch back to our book plan and open up that magazine viewer again, you'll see that the invite, rather than letting you type in emails, for example, it's a pull down, and it forces you to select an existing user. So currently, no. It's something that we do want to tie to user rights. So we want to be sure that the people that have access to that are intended to be able to see the publication. And so that's why, as I said earlier, you can very easily create a new group, and in that group assign the rights for Can See plans, both planning and production plans, and add the users that you need to. And it's, of course, it's easy to add users, and you do all of that over here in the left menu, users and groups. All right, well, thank you very much for your time and attention today. If you have any other topics you'd like to see covered in future webinars, please let us know. You can email us at the support email or talk to your sales representative. We'd be delighted to address those in future webinars.